Litecoin price analysis. LTC breakdown is just getting started. Targets $150. Litecoin USD extends correction to $180 support. Where is LTC price going next? Game changer for blockchain gaming. Polygon integrates Chainlink's VR function. Chainlink price prediction. Link bulls flee as broadening wedge pattern hints at a 50% drop. Tezos price analysis. XTZ has found strong support above $4.50. Hello, and welcome everyone to a new edition of Crypto News 24.
Litecoin recently abandoned the journey to all-time highs following a barrier slightly under $250. The correction has proved difficult to stop, with Litecoin losing various tentative support levels like $220 and $200. Meanwhile, the altcoin is testing support at $180, while declines toward $150 beckon. The 4-hour chart illustrates a massively bearish, moving average convergence divergence. This technical indicator can identify positions to sell the top and where to make an entry. A dive below the mean line signifies increasing selling pressure. Besides, a widening divergence between the blue MACD line and the signal line confirms the bearish outlook. In other words, LTC is likely to continue with the breakdown until formidable support is established. The least resistance path is downwards, particularly with the price trading below the 50 simple moving average on the 4-hour chart. Support at $180 is key to resuming the uptrend. However, if lost, Litecoin may freefall toward $150. The IMAP brings to light the absence of vital support areas under Litecoin. This means that if selling pressure rises, Litecoin could dive further down. On the upside, Litecoin is dealing with immense resistance between $201.60 and $207. Trading above this area will not be easy, hence recovery is not expected to come into play immediately. The Litecoin is seen trading within the 9-day and 21-day moving averages. However, a possible retracement below the moving averages may drag the price to the supports level of $160, $150, and $140 supports, creating a new monthly low. Therefore, if the buyers can decide to move the market price back above the 9-day moving average, buying pressure may experience further bullish movements to the potential resistance at the $240 and $250. Meanwhile, as it appears now, there's a need for a pullback for the market to regain strength. Moreover, a sustainable move above the upper boundary of the channel is needed for the upside to gain traction, with the next focus on $260, $270, and $280 resistance levels. The technical indicator RSI 14 is moving below the 60 level, suggesting more bearish signals into the market. When compares with Bitcoin, the Litecoin price is following a bearish sentiment now. However, if the bulls attempt to gain momentum, the bears are likely to keep releasing a huge pressure on the market, as the technical indicator RSI 14 heads to the south, seeing the signal line falling below the 45 level. Moreover, if the Litecoin stays below the 9-day and 21-day moving averages, it could significantly lower the price to 3,200 SAT and below. In case of a rebound, the coin can test the 4,400 SAT above the moving averages before resuming the rally. Just last week, Matic Network rebranded to Polygon. Now, the promising Ethereum scaling solution announced that they will be implementing Chainlink's verifiable random function. As Polygon reported in a blog post, the project implements Chainlink's verifiable random function to provide developers with the most in-demand tools and realize unique smart contract use cases. The function will give smart contract developers native access to the most secure and provably fair source of on-chain randomness in the blockchain industry. The feature is expected to have the greatest benefit for developers of blockchain-based games. Combined with the previously introduced Chainlink price feeds, this gives Polygon developers access to industry-leading price oracles and verifiable RNGs, two of the most important off-chain resources in creating highly scalable and provably secure DeFi protocols and on-chain gaming dApps. Some possible ideas include seeding specific collectible properties, original loot boxes, and rare artifacts in-game. Introducing random elements into gameplay such as card generation, critical hits, and matchmaking. Selecting random winners in on-chain lotteries or judges for on-chain governance, and whitelisting random addresses for in-demand token launches, or creating queues for participating in popular events and purchasing rare items. Commenting on the Polygon Chainlink VRF integration, Ether Legends CEO Curran Mulvihill said, "This is a game-changing integration that every blockchain game developer and player should be paying close attention to." Chainlink price suffered a 26% crash due to the sell frenzy witnessed on Monday's trading session. Chainlink price hangs by a thread. Chainlink price has formed a series of higher highs and higher lows since January 17th. By joining the pivot highs and lows using trendlines and ascending broadening wedge forms. This setup is a reversal pattern when it forms after a bull rally and forecasts a 50% downswing to $13. The target is determined by adding the distance between the swing high and pivot low to the breakout point at $27.45. Supporting this bearish outlook is the Supertrend indicator's sell signal. Based on global in and out of the money, roughly 28,000 addresses have purchased nearly 42 million Link at an average price of $27.45. Therefore, a one-day candlestick close below this level would kickstart a 35% crash to $17.80. GIOM cohorts show that 41,000 addresses hold 35 million Link here and will withstand any short-term selling pressure. However, a sell-off similar to the one seen on Monday's trading session could breach this support. In such a case, the Oracle token will drop to the next meaningful support barrier at $13, where 45,000 addresses hold about 55 million Link. Regardless of the market's extreme bearish momentum, investors should note that interested market participants might consider the $17.80 as a place to buy the dip. Tezos plunged nearly 30% after a sharp correction across the crypto market, fueled by Bitcoin's dip below $50,000. Tezos, which had been looking to retest resistance above $4.30, plummeted to lows of $2.90. The decline threatened to send Tezos price off a cliff before two consecutive green candlesticks on the 4-hour chart pushed XTZUSD to highs of $3.70. While Tezos remains 33% off its all-time high of $5.58, reached on February 14, 2021, positive momentum could see it break above a key resistance zone. The critical support levels are $4.50 and $4. $5.50 and $6 represent the resistance levels. If the price jumps above $5.50, it would be a signal to buy Tezos, but if the price falls below $4, it would be a firm sell signal and probably a trend reversal sign. The MACD indicator remains in the bearish zone, but there's a hint of a bullish crossover from below the signal line. The relative strength indicator is also looking to flip upward from the bearish zone. If bulls can breach the resistance at the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level of the downswing from $5.14 high to $2.93 at $3.79, the next hurdle is at the 0.5 Fibonacci level at $4.05. If the upside momentum holds and XTZ moves higher, buyers can target a horizontal barrier at $4.30.
Thanks for watching. Tune in same time tomorrow for more.